Hey cottagers, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Maddie Sanderson, and this week I actually shot an entire video, but I'm having to redo it. So this is gonna be a bit of a mess, if I'm being honest, because I shot a vlog this week that was me reading different books and giving you my take on it, and I was a cotton-headed ninny muggin and definitely deleted some of the footage. So I am going to put together real fast the beginning, which is what we're missing, and then I got the good chunk of the end, and then I needed to go ahead and film the very end of the actual vlog. So yes, I will look the same, even though technically this was the stuff from the beginning of the week. I don't have that footage, so I will just fill you in. I did not start my vlog until Tuesday because I don't know. I figured, why do anything on time? I don't know. And Tuesday last week was crazy for me. My computer decided that it was no longer going to accept the charger that I had for it, so I had to rush to town, which is about 30 minutes away from us, because it's the only place that had a charger. There was literally 2 of these chargers that I needed in the entire town. So I had to rush and get that, but I also had to drop Piper off at my mom's house, and I had to try and get back to the boat, make sure that it actually works on my computer, because I was going to be doing a sprint with my friend Leandra. And I got on my computer and got it all charged up and was able to get into the sprint 5 minutes before it started. Like, that's how down to the wire we were. So Tuesday I was already stressed. Like, I just woke up stressed, and then we had reading sprints, and so during those times I spent my time reading Legendary. And I do have an update of me finishing this book, but no, whenever I made my first edit of this video, I had just started. I was probably 60 pages into it, and I really was enjoying it. It is a great time. I like how it carries over from the second one, and then I will now go ahead and send you on to the next video where I give you my wrap up for this one. It is officially Thursday, which for those of you keeping track, that means that I did not have any footage from yesterday, which is accurate. Piper stayed over at my mom's house Tuesday night, and so I had to drive and pick her up, which is about 30 minutes away. And then while I was in town, we decided we were going to go spend the whole day with my best friend, and I was actually going to work on a little project. I'll give you guys a little sneak peek. I'm not showing you guys any more than that. Patreon members know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you guys what it is just yet. I feel like I look like the book edition of Hermione Granger, where she has like the crazy hair, looks a bit like a nerd. I feel like that's what I have going on right now. It's okay. So yesterday I did finish Legendary, and Legendary was good. It was not as great as Caraval, and I don't okay, I'm going to say some things about this, but I'm not going to tell you names because it will ruin the first book. So if you've never read the first book, I don't want to ruin that for you. But in this book there is a love triangle that happens, and I hate love triangles. Absolutely despise them. I think that they are just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous trope. I know a lot of people love it, but I just hate it because I feel like it kind of devalues the 2 other people, whoever it is. And I just hate them. I hate them. So I'm already going to not like a book that really does base the entirety of the book on that for the most part. So that's happening in here. But then also I was able to figure out all the twists before they even came. There wasn't anything that actually shocked me or surprised me in this one, which that shocked me and surprised me, because the first one did so good of keeping me on my toes that I really did expect this one to be the same, but it wasn't. But that is okay. I am still looking forward to reading finale, and it's going to be one that I hopefully finish this month. If not this month, it's definitely going to be at the beginning of next month. I love this series and I still highly recommend it, but I do feel like it could have just ended with Caraval and it would have been a wonderful standalone book. But I'm excited to see how finale ends. So once I finished this one, I really actually wanted to get into, I'm really feeling fantasy or feeling mystery, but my Libby came in for The Book Thief, and so I decided I was going to start The Book Thief. And I went into this knowing absolutely nothing about it, except for my best friend recommended it for me, and she has never steered me wrong. So I figured I'm probably gonna love this, but I also know her, and she loves books that are set around the Civil Wars, and she loves historical fiction, and so I figured that was what this was about. This is in fact a historical fiction, and it is set in the Nazi regime, but I did not expect this to be as quirky as it is. Like, if you've read this, let me know down below if you appreciated the quirkiness or if it was actually like kind of off-putting. So far, what I'm loving about this is that your narrator in here is actually Death. Like, Death is the person, the thing, the embodiment of something, and he is narrating this entire book, and he is fascinated with this little girl who he calls the Book Thief. He calls her that because whenever he first, I don't know how to explain that, whenever he first came upon her or whatnot, she steals a book, and she was little, and so he was like, oh, there's probably some things that are going to be happening with this girl, so I'm going to be paying close attention to her. And I love that it's already, every chapter almost like has a foreshadowing moment where it says, it's like those memes where they're like, oh, everything's going to be fine. And then the meme happens as like, everything was not fine. That's what this feels like it's doing. And I love that. And also, like, it's a gut punch every time because you're like, oh, things are good. And then he's like, it won't stay that way. And you're like, oh no. But it's funny as well. And it's good. It is really good so far. I forgot to put my bookmark in it. I had to listen to this a little bit today. And so I forgot to put my bookmark in it where I'm currently at. But I would say I'm at least a third of the way through this book already, and I am enthralled. I cannot wait to see what in the world is this book actually going to be about. Like, what is its overarching theme, and where is this girl going to end up? Are we going to be following her as just a little girl, or are we going to watch her grow up? Like, is she gonna end up in a Nazi camp? Because we don't actually know much about her. She's an orphan, and that's all we really know about her. So I don't know. I'm loving this. I am loving this book so much. I think that it was a wonderful recommendation. I am so excited to read this. So the plan is tonight we're gonna have a movie night because it's all rainy and moody. So what do you do on rainy, moody days? You have movie nights. And then after that, I'm going to do some more reading of this. And then hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to get a little bit more reading done. And I will hopefully have this book finished by the time I'm here to wrap this whole vlog up. But I don't know. We have a pretty crazy weekend ahead, so it may not get done. But I will be reading tonight, so I will come back and let you guys know what I think about it. second to collect myself after finishing this book because it was so good. Like, just thinking about it makes me want to cry again. It was so good. You know what's gonna happen before it ever begins, because as I said before, the narrator is deaf, and he like even makes a quirky remark of he doesn't leave things up to mystery, and so like you pretty much know exactly when people are going to be dying, but it's so hard to read, even though they're fictional characters. It was just, it was hard. That was hard, but it was so good. Oh my goodness. I am sad that it took me this long to read this book because it is such a good book. I highly, highly recommend it. This is definitely like 6-star and beyond for me. Even though I am very sad by it and I will probably be a mess for a bit. I'll probably go cry myself to sleep. It was so good. It was so good. This is definitely one though that I was doing the tandem reading, and I would recommend to not just listen to the audiobook because it can get very confusing, because the way that this is written, it is written in such a unique way that I have never really experienced before, and I don't know that I would ever experience again. I don't know. I have another one of his books called Bridge of Clay, and I am so intrigued by it. Like, I want to go and pick it up and start reading it immediately because I want to see if it is written the same as this. And I am obsessed. I am obsessed with this book. This was such a wonderful book, And I know some of you guys don't want to read books that make you cry, but I mean, it wasn't until literally like the last 10 pages. So the rest of it was really good and, you know, lighthearted and things like that. For the most part, there were hard parts in it, but it wasn't to this extent. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. Please put this on your TBR if you've never read this before. Now I have the rest of this weekend to do some more reading, and I'm going to hopefully start on my next book tomorrow. And I don't think I'll get every book done this week that I was hoping for, just because tomorrow we are really swamped, and then Sundays tend to be a bit busier for us as well. Anyways, so good. So after I finished The Book Thief, which, as y'all clearly saw, like ugly cries, all that jazz, I still cannot stop thinking about that. It is technically Monday of the next week. We had a crazy busy weekend as well. That's just our life right now. And so I did finish The Book Thief Friday night, and then Saturday we were gone from like 8 in the morning until almost 10 o'clock at night, I want to say. And so we didn't get much done, especially whenever it came to reading. So I did barely start Everyone on This Train is a Suspect, and I was enjoying it. It started off just like the other one. I like books that are in a series, and whenever you start it, it feels like an old friend. And that's exactly what this one felt like for me. We started it and I was like, oh, Ernest, I've missed you. And then we just continue on with that, and it was so good. It was wonderful. I had the best time with that. And I was really sad that I could not spend the rest of the day reading this, but we were so busy. So then yesterday, which was Sunday, I ended up being sick, so I wasn't able to go to church, and so I spent that time just kind of curled up on the couch reading. And then I was so engrossed in this that I was like, Cody, we're not doing anything until I finish this book. And I am so thankful I did that. It was so good. I loved it. And I know that this is definitely like a polarizing book. People either absolutely love it or they absolutely hate it. I love quirky. I love weird. I like the things that are humorous. Like, that's why I loved The Book Thief so much, is because it was so funny, but it was such a hard topic. So, and it was handled so well. Being able to have both of those things in one book was phenomenal. And this one, I feel like, is the same thing. We are dealing with death. We're dealing with murder. We're dealing with just the depravity of humanity, and the fact that it's done in a humorous way. I really enjoyed it. I just loved it. I actually was talking to my mom, who I had to convince her to read Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. And then she read this one before I did. And I'm like, that's fine. It's fine. So she read this one, and we were talking about it yesterday, and well, actually she was sitting there watching me read this, and like, she knew when I was getting to points when it's like, oh, I had no idea this was happening, or I'd have to discuss something real fast because I'm like, I didn't even see this coming. There were certain twists and turns that I did see coming, but it was so well done that I didn't care. I loved it. And then the big twist at the end, obviously figuring out who the person was one of those where I'm like, dang, I should have known. He told me. He told me in the first chapter that he was going to tell me who it was before we even got there. And he did. And I still didn't figure it out. It was so good. But I was talking to my mom about how I really think that I like this one more than the first one. And that's only because of the way the killer comes about. I can't say more, because if you've never read the first one, it would be a big spoiler. So I'm not going to say anything there, but just for those of you who have read the first one and you know what I mean, let me know. Like, did you like the way that this killer was presented better than the one in the first one? Or did you prefer it the first way? Or did you not like either way? I don't know. I had the best time with both of them, and I cannot wait to see what Benjamin Stevenson continues to produce. I don't know how you can go from here, but I also didn't know how you could go from the first one and still have a second one that was going to be such a hard hitter. And this one, to me, was it was so good. This one definitely got 5 stars for me. So I am just in like this great mood, because I read 2 phenomenal books back to back, and so I've just been having the time of my life. I have been loving this. And then last night, because I needed something to read, obviously, I did start The Beekeeper's Apprentice, which is basically following Mary Russell, who becomes close friends with Sherlock Holmes and is kind of taken under his wing and guided, and she now starts becoming more of a amateur detective, just like Sherlock Holmes is. I don't know what I think about it. I don't know. I'm on page 122, and I just don't care. That's kind of where I'm sitting. And I'm sad because I am very much in my mystery time right now, because I finally got to read a mystery this month and I absolutely loved it. And we're about to start our Mystery and Mayhem readathon just at the end of this week. So I'm literally 4 days away from it and I'm so excited. But I have been holding off for that to read mysteries. But this one, I was like, well, it's already on my TBR for this month, so we're going to go ahead and just read it. Plus, I did happen to reserve the Hoopla for it, and I had 3 days left, so I needed to go ahead and read it while I had it. But I don't care. I do not care. There is nothing that is drawing me to these characters. Even like, I love Sherlock Holmes, but I just don't care about him in this. And I don't know. I don't understand why I don't like this book. I guess it's not that the characters don't have redeeming qualities, it's just that they have no qualities, redeeming or not, I guess, to me. And the cases that they're on, it's just like, you just learn about the case and now you've completely solved it within 2 pages, if that. Well, okay. And it must be good because I know that this is a series. This is the first in a series, and so there must be some validation within that, but I just don't like it. So all of that to say, I'm probably going to end up DNFing this and then moving on. So I will be starting a new vlog for this week that will show you the books that I will be reading for this week and the mayhem and craziness that is this next week. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me. Thank you guys for watching. And for those of you who have liked, commented, and subscribed, I thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the absolute world to me. If you guys are interested, I do have a Patreon, so make sure that you check the link down below. We are starting our very first book club book pick this week, so you are not going to be missing out on that. And you also have a free week trial if you'd like that. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.